Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So, been an interesting day, so to speak. I take a lot of pride in what I do, and everything I do, be it my marriage, be it what I do here on YouTube, my woodworking, my job, everything. I take a lot of pride in stuff that I do, and you know, it's amazing how pathetic and hateful some people are. I feel bad for some people that literally their heart it just must be black inside. The amount of hate that people have. So I posted the pictures of, because I was very proud of the rack that's headed out to Hawaii that, it's customized. The person wanted to have a silver ring around it, the blue and the silver laces and everything else. And a person goes through and says, "You used to be about the Cowboys, but now that you're part of the media, you're like ESPN, and it's all about the money." Well, I gotta be honest with you, dude. If you think I'm making a fortune from building those shot glass racks, sorry, buddy, I'm not. Especially when it costs $46 for me to send that one to Hawaii, and the system kind of messed up and only charged 12. So actually, that's more like a gift than anything else. And it's not really about making a fortune. It's actually a way of trying to touch other people's lives. But I see your point that you're going to make some for Eagle fans or Redskin fans and things like that. That doesn't mean that I support those teams because we have a lot of fans. Here's the great thing about this channel. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian. It doesn't matter if you're an American, a Canadian, Hispanic, from Australia. It doesn't matter if you are a Cowboys fan, an Eagles fan, a Redskin fan. Because that's the great thing about football is we don't have to like each other's teams to still be civil. And that's the problem with our country right now. Everybody has this attitude that if you don't agree with what I say, then it's the hell with you, it's F you, then you're a piece of crap. And we got to get away from that because America was built on different ideas, principles, and things, and taking the best of everything and making this country the best in the world. So I feel sorry for people like you, buddy, that are so full of hate. But, I'll pray for you, brother. I'll pray for you. So the question that you have to ask is this, and this is what happens this time of year all the time, is the teams that go to the Super Bowl and the rankings, of course, of the teams right now. I almost find it comical because right now everybody's saying, well, can Kansas City stay on top? They're built the right way. They got Pat Mahomes, a great coaching organization and stuff. And that's what you hear. And generally speaking, what happens is when you look at the power rankings after the Super Bowl, they don't take in consideration that half the teams that make the playoffs this year won't next year. Almost verbatim, unless it's the Cowboys. They will go through, and everybody who was good this year, they're going to go ahead and say they're going to be good next year. I'll give you an example. So after the Super Bowl last year, this was the offseason post rankings. New England won the Super Bowl. Patriots, what left to say? Definitely the greatest dynasty in NFL history, even on the heels of subpar by their standards, regular seasons, now in a race with Pittsburgh to be the first 7-time Super Bowl champs. Number one. Number two, the Saints. They got shafted, period. In retrospect, who would have preferred a New England, New Orleans, Brady, Breeze Super Bowl? Who wouldn't have? Three, Chiefs. They also got strong argument for finishing second in final 2018 power rankings after taking the eventual champions in overtime in the championship game. Four, Rams. Great season, but Super Bowl flop. Todd Gurley mystery, Jared Goff postseason struggles, non-call in New Orleans deservedly knocked them down. So they have the Rams fourth. Chargers fifth. Could best Bolts team in recent memory be even better in 2019 with a full season out of Joey Bosa and tight end Hunter Henry? They missed on those two, didn't they? See, those two were both playoff teams. Six, Colts. GM Chris Ballard has the most cap space in the NFL, more than $100 million projected, and three of the draft's top 58 picks. AFC darlings for 2019. Again, playoff team. Bears, magical season under rookie coach Matt Nagy, but can GM Ryan Pace improve roster with a little cap space and no draft picks for the third round? Yeah. And then, of course, our Cowboys. They've never sustained momentum under Jason Garrett, whose contract looming as an issue. Ditto DeMarcus Lawrence and, respectively, Zeke Elliott. Eagles, 9. Will they be better or not with Carson Wentz at the control for a playoff run? What will we presume about the Nick Foles trade? Then, of course, Seahawks. I'm not going to go through and read that one. Seahawks, Vikings, Ravens, Browns, Texans, Falcons. Oh, by the way, let's read the Browns, though, because a lot of teams said they had them at 12. ESPN's dysfunctional expose fascinated. Regardless, they appear playoff prime, especially after they're wisely sticking with Freddie Kitchens. And here we have it, 16. The 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo returned to the club that unfailingly fought despite dim prospects. So, as we go through and we look at this year's perspective, understanding that 5 of the teams that were in the playoffs from the year before weren't this year, including our Cowboys. As we look through these things that people are going through and they're taking the power rankings to gospel, understand that more than likely the 49ers are going to fail this year if you go by recent history. Look at the Rams. 3rd place in their division after going to the Super Bowl. Boom. Dropped like a rock. The Eagles, after they did make it to the playoffs, but definitely weren't the same team. They went from 13-3 to 9-7 and one and done. The Atlanta Falcons, they barely made the playoffs, but right now, of course, they're bottom feeders. So to think that automatically, because you were good last year, does not translate into wins the following year. And there's a couple of reasons behind that. One, you think about the teams that aren't as good, that have had actually more time to shut guys down. Basically, they get an extra month of time to heal their bodies, get off-season surgery, to rest up and get ready for the marathon that is. And as we right now are gearing up for the next season, and when you think about the combine starts in a week and a half, the college players that are coming in, they've got no rest. And as well as the 49ers and Kansas City, they've only had a week off, where most teams have had a month off already to recover. When you're good, people want what you have, be it coaches, be it players, and you start getting picked apart. When you're good, those players who were integral parts want a bigger piece of the pie. So you've got that to deal with. And of course, you have that first class schedule, as well as later round draft picks. And so as you see all these pieces and things that are fighting against you, it makes it that much harder. That's why more times than not, you see teams that literally were in the basement turn around and end up going to the Super Bowl. Am I lying? Who thought that the 49ers were going to be going to the Super Bowl? Nobody. And when the Eagles did it, they went from worst to first. And more times than not, that's where you get the Cinderella story. So as we go through and start talking about, the Cowboys stink for next year. Well, will they? I don't know. The one thing that's been typical, especially in the NFC East and more times than not with the Dallas Cowboys, is we have a good season, then we have a bad season, followed by a good season. So if that's the case and the Cowboys, without Jason Garrett, continue that trend, look for next year to be an uptick for the Cowboys. And you never know what's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to go through here and say we're going to the Super Bowl and everything. I don't know. There's too many unknowns that are out there right now. We don't know who we're going to re-sign. We don't know if we're going to try and go big in free agency. We don't know how the draft's going to work. And it's funny, I talked about this morning how we didn't get the impact the last 2 years out the draft that we had in other years and how that directly affected us. And lo and behold, there's an article out this afternoon how they ranked the Cowboys draft from last year as a C minus, being that Tony Pollard is the only one who actually gave us any help on the season. So, what are the Cowboys going to do next year? At this point, best thing is a guess. Nobody really knows who is going to be next year's San Francisco 49ers. Hell, it could be the Cardinals for all we know. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see you soon.